Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, today we want to ask a simple question. Why are you not upgrading your smartphones? So this has been a trend lately where a lot of people are not upgrading their smartphones. I mean, these companies have gotten so used to making us sheeple that every time they push an update to their device, you run out and buy the latest. I mean, remember those times when Apple was in that heyday? You know, Apple 4 comes out and everyone goes in lines and they sell their perfectly good iPhone that works perfectly fine, and they buy the latest one. And then a few months later, they do it again. We run in, we buy them. We run in, we buy the next one. The next one, and Apple's just gotten so used to this, and they looked at this like iPhone 10 comes out, and we went because it's like $1,000 for a phone that doesn't seem to do a lot. I mean, sure they put some different stuff. I don't know. And people start looking at this going, maybe not. And so it kind of caused the sales to drop. And Samsung is seeing some of the same things. And so it asks this question, why are people not upgrading their smartphones? So the Verge actually did an article on this. And I thought part of like the analysis in the article is actually very good. But I just have to call them out for being like little children. Yes, this has to do with China. The big bad boogeyman named China, I guess, is responsible for everything. Well, everything the Russians aren't, I guess. It's insanity. But really what's going on? China doesn't have anything to do with this. So basically last month, Verizon AT&T basically said that owners are upgrading a lot less than they used to. If you guys also remember, we covered it on the news, how Apple is, they stopped reporting the cell phone sales because it's getting so low. It's kind of hurting some of the shareholders. And so what they're ended up doing is instead of focusing on hardware sales, which has been the core of their business model, they're shifting to more services, renewable subscription fees, things like that, so they can counteract this. And so what's happened is Americans, and this is an American-focused model, is they're saying that there's three primary reasons people aren't upgrading their phones. And I look at this like I'm looking at the entire smartphone world. And I'm going, if there's not a viable Linux phone, the next time I need a phone, I'm just going to go back to a flip phone. I will. Because the phone market is getting so crazy. We have predatory data collection on the lower income where you can go to Walmart and buy a smartphone for $30-$40. And it's crap, but it does the task of smartphoniness. The problem is those things are so locked down and have so many, like those things have 3 separate Facebook applications pre-installed. Now you can go in and disable them. You can't completely uninstall them. You of course can't open up the bootloader. You can't install a custom ROM on these little phones. So your higher end phones, most of them are now getting locked down. Of course, Apple and Samsung have taken over the market as the domineering guys, and Samsung are making it a little bit harder at times to unlock their bootloaders. Some of them unlock, some of them don't. Some of them you can install custom ROMs, some of them you can't. Apple, of course, they're always anti-jailbreaking. And so we have the situation where, from the perspective of the people probably watching this, where you want a little bit more security, you want a little bit more privacy, you don't want these companies completely on everything that you're doing, you would need to take the custom phone, the stock phone, wipe it out, install a custom ROM on it, and use your phone. And that's what I have with mine. And I absolutely love this phone that runs Lineage. And with Lineage on this, I have everything on here is open source applications. Everything works just fine. No Google connections. My basic internet and a lot of my basic services run through the Tor network. So I feel confident enough that my phone has enough security and privacy that I feel confident that what I'm doing isn't being as thoroughly tracked as it could be if it were a stock device. So with that being said, if I go into, when this phone dies and I go in to get another phone, if I can't get one that I can unlock, that I can install Lineage, that everything's going to work fine out of the box, then I don't really want to upgrade. But there's other factors as well. There's these things on phones that are called headphone jacks. Well, I mean, it was apparently a legacy option. More and more phones are getting rid of those, and I use it all the time. I'm not getting Bluetooth headphones. I'm sorry. I have piles of headphones that work just fine, and I want to continue to work those just fine. All right. So with that being said, the other factors, I don't want ugly notches. I don't know. I might have to eventually get one, but I don't know. I would kind of prefer expandable SD card slots, although this one doesn't have one. And I'd prefer things that don't have the ability to scan your face when you're looking at it. These are some of these things that I look at inside of us. Now, what do the sheeple look into? Probably none of those items at all. They're just like, they want the amazing phones of nothing. So, that being said, the analysis in this article, which had nothing to do with China at all, I don't even know why they put that in their subtitle, but the analysis was actually good. Surprising. I was shocked. I know, I was shocked. So the first reason people are saying is the Apple and Samsung duopoly. This has to do with China how? Oh, it doesn't? Oh, an American company and a South Korean company are not catching up with Huawei? I mean, really? Really? Thank you for that super chat. I will get to that question when I'm done with this video clip, so stick around. So basically what they're saying is this guy says, what's the top phone that he would say? Well, it's the Huawei phone. There's the OnePlus phone. To my understanding, I think OnePlus only works on T-Mobile. Is that correct? So AT&T and Verizon aren't getting those. It might actually work on the other ones. It's just, I think this is you just can't buy it from that system. All right, so the typical smartphone user, most people are on AT&T or Verizon. You also have T-Mobile and Sprint taking on some of the market as well. These guys, pretty much, if you walk into one of these two stores, you're going to see a big section of Samsung, a big section of Apple, and maybe a little bit of other odds and ends. This is why, for me, I don't buy my phones at the store, people. This is a non-issue. Go do your homework like a big boy, like a big girl. Do a little bit of research, know a little bit about your network, research what phones are going to work on your network, and buy an unlocked phone that you can pick up. And I always pick them up used. I pick up the used ones for the people that have gotten the first, the first couple of months on the thing, and then they got upgraded to something else because something else came out and they're trying to sell that to recoup a little of their losses. It works just fine, like buying a used car. I paid $100 for this, and it works. I love it. All right. And so the second is the Apple and Samsung stagnation. This has to do with China how? Oh, two competing markets aren't catching up with Huawei because they don't care, because they've probably have some back-end collusion keeping Huawei out of the U.S. market. Ooh, where's my hat? It's a conspiracy. All right, so behind being limited to two providers might not be a problem if they were competing, but they're not. It's not, and by the way, it's not that they're not competing. It's that smartphones reach saturation. How much more can you do with a smartphone, really? It's reached its saturation. It's reached the point where it does what it needs to do. It does it well. What more do you want? What more do you want? This is just a natural market to how computing works, a natural market to how commerce works. So, of course, they're somehow blaming China for Apple and Samsung, American and South Korean companies, for not, I don't know. Of course, now they're talking about the disappearing screen bezels. I don't care about disappearing screen bezels. Neither does anybody else I know of. I don't care about thin phones. I care about headphone jacks and it not having a stupid bite taking out of the screen. That's what I care about. So, that's kind of the thing. And then, of course, the next is the new economics of flagships. This, to me, is the biggest reason and very factual. These companies keep on jacking the prices and jacking the prices and jacking the prices. So now these phones that they're trying to get everyone to buy are over $1,000. Here in America, we have our students are leaving college not being able to find a lot of jobs. Most of them are not being able to find sustainable work. In debt up to their eyeballs. The average car payment is over $500 a month. The average credit card balance, I think, is like $20,000, $30,000. I forget what the average credit card balance is. Housing market has just gone crazy. Cost of living is super high, and these companies want us to fork out $1,000 for a phone that this one's better than those flagships, according to me, for $100. I mean, this is why people aren't buying them. They look at the price tag and go, I'm going to look at my other options. More people are now willing to go to Walmart, buy the $30 crap smartphone, pay the $30 a month that it's cheap and easy to use, and actually get away with it, because these phones' prices have been jacked so stinking high. And if you've been on a recent smartphone, they make me want to go hurt myself. These things are so annoying, and I can't turn off half of the, do you want to do this? We're going to click pop-ups left and right and center. Dude, I was on a marketing site for somebody. I'm working on a project with a client right now, and they're like, hey, look into this shopping cart. I landed on a shopping cart. I got not one, not two, but 3 separate pop-ups. It frustrated me because I had to sit on the site and look at it. That annoys the bejeebers out of me. These new smartphones where I can't turn off a lot of these features, and they think I want all full-fledged automated AI to do all this jazzy stuff. I don't. Be a simple computer that responds to my input. Allow me to do this or do this. That's all I want. I don't want all this jazzy stuff, because all this jazzy stuff is all the stuff that collects your data, sells it, gets breached, and is used against you down the road. That, in my opinion, is that more people are starting to wake up to this stuff. That, in my opinion, is why some people are not upgrading. That and a $1,000 price tag. So I don't know. That's kind of just my brief thoughts. I'm very different than a lot of other people. Let me know your thoughts. Why are you not upgrading smartphones? Is it the price? Is it the competition? Is it that your phone's lasting longer? Let me know in the comments down below.